Today, we are going to talk about body of knowledge and exam tips. Okay, so I'm just going, this is also the video version of this is free. You can register an account with us and watch it for free. So if we go back to area of examination, so as a pipeline inspector, you need to know about surveying. So before they start, actually they survey the area to see that how the pipeline goes. You should know about clearing and grading. So before they start digging the trench, they clear all the vegetations and any stones and all that sort of. So they grade it, they level the ground, and then they do the digging, and then they stockpile. They bring the pipeline along the line that they have digged and string it, which means they start building it together at that point, each sections of the pipe. And if there is the line is not straight, then they have to bend the pipe. So there would be, some of the bends would be around field benders, which they can do it at site, and they can do up to 10 to 15 degree. More than that, they have to do a hot bending, which would be at the workshop. So the cold bending is done at the site. And then you do ditching and excavation. And then the welding has been done on, like they put like every pipe, they do the welding together there at the site, and then they coat that area, because they leave some area uncoated for welding, and then they do the coating there at the joints. Only the actual coating of the pipe is done at the pipe mill, and then they lower it or back, and then they backfill it. So they put back the soil. You should know about the cathodic protection. You should know about, and then they do the hydrostatic testing. So the cathodic protection is like, practically you need to either use sacrificial anode, which is normally not enough. So you impress current. So keep the pipe always in a positive state of electrons, because the minute it goes into negative, it starts giving away electrons, and that is the cause of corrosion. So you prolong the state of the life of the pipe by cathodic protection. You do the hydrostatic testing. They normally do it between 5 to 10 kilometers. Line segment by segment, and then at the end you do the cleanup and restoration. So pipeline construction inspector is involved on all these stages. Okay, now just to remind you that a pipeline construction inspector does not need to be a entity examiner, because here entity is involved, or a welding inspector, or a coating inspector, for that instance. But you should have knowledge of these areas about the NDT, welding, coating, etc. You should have knowledge about cathodic protection and the basic of corrosion. You should have knowledge of how they do the hydrostatic testing, and you should also have a good knowledge of safety, health, and environment. Because as a pipeline inspector, this is designed as you are eyes and ears of the clients there, to start reporting to them, flag off any problem, and practically you're representing the client at the field as a pipeline construction inspector. So practically your responsibility comes to monitor, assess, evaluate, and report, resolve, and all the activities of the design, drawings, specification, regulation, industry practices, etc. So it's a long list of specialization: HSC, NDE, welding, coating, mechanical inspection. You should be able to read the material test reports, storage and handling. So there is a long list of it as a pipeline construction inspector that you are involved. So again, if you are a specialist in any of these fields, don't read too much into question, because they're very, very simple. very basic. You should know about them. So if you are, for example, a welding inspector, if a welding question comes, all you need to know that what a WPS looks like, what are the essential, non-essential parameters, that sort of thing, and or how they qualify a welding welder, or welding procedure qualification, what is a PQR, so that sort of thing, or what is the NDT and how the reports should look like, how the procedure should look like, but you're not have the prime responsibility for them. You should just know the basics. So this, we put also the statistics since 2014. It used to be between 60 to 69 to 70% was the pass point. Now they use the pass point of 400 to 500. So the minimum pass point is 400. There is no negative marking. This is involved of two parts, open book and closed book. We'll explain this. Just remember that the prime document, unlike other exams, is not API recommended practice to study 1169, but the practical guide published by INGA, Interstate Natural Gas Association of America, and SEPA, or the equivalent Canadian Energy Pipeline Association. So because API 1169 recommended practice, it actually explains what is expected from inspector, but does not explain how. On the other hand, the practical guide has extensive checklist, INGA and SEPA, showing what need to be verified or ticked by the inspector. So these are the most important documents, and they are free, and you can study them at the API website. And now API, say 1104, is the governing document for the WPS qualification as well as NDA acceptance criteria. Remember, this is the acceptance criteria, so all the acceptance criteria comes from API 1104. And ASME, say section 9, which is welding code, is actually tell you how a WPS or WPQ is written. What is a PQR? How is it written? But it doesn't tell you the acceptance criteria. The acceptance criteria is API 1104. This could be a potential exam question. And API 1110, which is exclusively dedicated to the pressure testing of pipeline. And then you need to study the ISO 9000 series, which is a quality management system, only the vocabulary. So what they means by their terms and definitions. And API Q1, which is again a QMS, quality management system, but from API point of view, they're very similar. And although ASME B31.4 and 31.8 pipeline transportation systems code for liquids and gas, they are part of the body of knowledge, but because they have been brought in other codes, and so API does not ask you to study them, but we have brought them so you know where this is coming from, all these rules and regulations. So during the exam, you have access to both US and Canadian sets of HSCC documents. There are 12 sets. We have highlighted all these the potential exam questions, and you can find it in our website once you purchase this. Well, I personally find the Canadian one more user-friendly. So if you don't, but I actually gave my exam by US safety codes, like I studied on them. But if you do not understand any part, go to this Canadian counterpart, and they have, I believe they have explained it more in a more friendly manner. So this is what you see on the open book exam. You will have around 10-15 questions, and it's all about safety and environment. So you should know which document you can find the answer for that open book question. So it's important that you understand what is all this US CFR 1910, OSHA, occupational health and safety, 1926, they all mean. And we have highlighted them in our course, so You should know which one to focus and what are the important potential questions. So you get an idea that where you can find the answer in open book really. And I would suggest that you do the open book, just flag off the question and do it at the end of the course, because normally open book takes more time and you don't want to panic and run out of time and fail to answer all those easy questions. So to do all the closed book question, and at the end go to the open book which you have flagged off, and you can filter all the flagged off questions that is there and do it.